A warm welcome to everyone. I'm Devendra Rajvanari here to give my individual reflection on course ITECH7415 master project. The project that we did was under the topic organizational culture insight using NLU and machine learning. Moving on to the table of content, I'll be covering skill sets applied, SFI skills, largest their contribution that I made in the project, unique things that I learned, and ideas to improve the course. Let's move and discuss about the skill sets that I have applied. As ITECH7415 master project is advanced level course, there are several skill sets that we can apply as we learned in our previous subjects as well. The first skill set that I applied was to identify the gap in context of artificial intelligence that covers NLP and machine learning, where our project was basically covering the artificial intelligence part, where we had to develop machine learning model. The second skill that I applied was to lead specific aspect of the project working under agile approach and to collaborate my project team with external parties as well. The third skill set also talks about various collaboration tools that we use collaborating and performing very professionally with internal and external project stakeholders. Fourth skill set that I applied was to critically thinking and to solve the problem that arises during various phase of project, during various sprints that we did to accomplish the project. The fifth one was to develop the final product and to deliver it to the client, which applies an state of art of industry standard, where we have used Python to develop the NLP model and machine learning model, integrating it to generate a dashboard. The last skill set that I applied was to collaborating, modeling, analytical tools, and various other project management skills to complete the project. Moving on to next slides, it's talk about SFI skills. There are 4 skills that falls under SFI that I personally feel that I have learned from this project. The first one is data science. Under data science, we have used various statistical and mathematical analysis to create the machine learning models, and also under data visualization, where we have used the outcome generated by our models. As our project was based on machine learning component, the key time we spent on was to develop a machine learning model, where we have used various skills to develop a model. And as a project leader, I have applied various skills under project management, from collaborating the team to communicating it with the external parties, to track the project progress, to help the project team to achieve its task goals. Now, the next slide is about the largest 3 contributions that I have made. The first one is to act as a project manager and to perform the role of Scrum Master. As we have learned about Scrum Master and Agile approach in previous semesters, it was very unique experience for me to perform the role of Scrum Master, as I also had to deal with multiple tasks simultaneously, to deal with the external party, to deal with the project team, to help them to collaborate with other things and other party as well. The second largest contribution that I made was to in the development of NLU and machine learning code, which we use to generate our dashboards. That was that also covers my third point, which is using a visualization for generating our dashboards. To show the evidence of work that I have carried on to the project, let me quickly share my screen, where I'll be discussing about the project codes that we developed. So using this code, we uploaded the knowledge base that where all 4 of us have spent our time to add various kind of phrases. We have added more than 250 phrases for each intent, where we cover 2 dimensions: organizational effectiveness and usability. After that, we create an NLU model and then train the model, and then we have saved it into our local directory. The major part that I spent was in testing part of NLU model. So on my right side of the window, here is the testing code. So what it does, it loads the NLU model using this command, and then we'll use a test data spreadsheet, where we will only cover spreadsheet number 2. I'll show the sample of spreadsheet. So here we'll be using this spreadsheet, and there are 10 rows of data. Once we run the code for testing, it will generate output in the form of a categorization, where it will classify this part of text into 4 intent and then score it and then give us the predicted intent, which will be the highest confidence level. As we can see here, the open system has 99.38% of confidence level, which shows the predicted intent for it is open system. This was covered in sprint 1. Moving on to sprint 2, I collaborated with my team member to create the code for machine learning part. In machine learning, we have used, Spacey, where we load the NLE model, use the folder to upload all the JSON files that our clients supply to us, where there are various chat data that we have to process using NLU. And it will categorize into 2 dimensions, organizational effectiveness and approachability, that will cover by goal-oriented, means-oriented, and approachability will be covered by open system and closed system. And then it will process it, classify it, and then score it. The machine learning model will then generate an average score for all the intent, and then it will give a average percentage score for all the dimensions. We have added a code to save the output file into a JSON file format so that it would be easier for us to visualize. So developing a machine learning model was covered on sprint 2. Moving on to sprint 3, we have used Streamlit as a visualization package in Python, where and then we use various filtering and sorting method. The first part was to upload the output file that was generated by machine learning using the command output file path. It will load the file where output of this JSON file will be loaded, and it will create and use it to visualize it. The first dashboard that we generated was a combined dashboard using 2 dimensions, organizational effectiveness and approachability. And the second part was to create an individual dashboard and then to plot it. Once we run this code, it will ask us to use the command prompt, where we will be using Streamlit to run it. Once we run this, it will open an Excel sheet. It will open our web browser, where we'll have a dashboard. It will give an initial dashboard as an empty, and it will ask us to please select 1 dimension. If you go and select organizational effectiveness, it will use the output file from JSON and it will score and plot it in a graph. Similarly, if we go on and select approachability, it will follow the same procedure, use the score generated by machine learning, and then plot it in a graph. So for a combined dashboard, we'll use all the dimensions that we have used. So it will give a combined dashboard. The feature that I was mentioning earlier was using threshold percent. If we move the cursor to 49%, it will only present the value that is above 49% and plot it in a graph. So let's go to the initial dashboard of combined. So the another feature we added is sorting. Let's use descending. It will just sort it in descending order. So this is the final output that we generated, and we handed it over to the client. So let's go back to the presentation. Before discussing about another slide, I'll also quickly like to show the collaboration tool that we use. We have used Trello, where we have kept the progress of the project, where all the members has contributed, and we have used various techniques to track the progress. It was very helpful to use Trello as well. So let's go back to the presentation. So the unique thing that I have learned was to work under the approach of Agile project development, as it is one of the most popular approach in project management at present context. It was very experience. It was a very good experience for us to gain insight of Agile approach. Second one, so the second unique thing that I learned was to perform the tasks of Scrum Master. It was a second role that I performed aside from my project leader. I had to collaborate and multitask various things to meet the need of the project. The third thing was to perform in a professional way, to engage both client and supervisor, where we spend a lot of our time in gathering requirement to meet the requirement, discuss about the project of the progress of the project. And another one was to the most important was advanced level of programming in Python. As we were familiar with Python through our previous course, but we have used various advanced level of coding in developing machine learning and analytic model. We have also the unique thing that I learned was there were various Python libraries that meet the requirement based on the requirement of the client. And the last unique thing that I learned was to integrate all the model based on Sprint to generate a dashboard. Moving on to the presentation, the last slide will be discussing about the ideas that could be helpful to improve this course. The first one would be to add more industry engagement. As during our course period, we had various guest lecture come in and share their experience about the present context in the industry. It was very much helpful. I hope it can be continued in further next semester, where student can get more experience from the guest lectures by sharing their experience. And the second one is to include more project like ours, which was a very real project for the business that's based in Adelaide. Doing so, what it will do is it will help student to get more professional engagement and how real project works, which was very much helpful for us. That should be all for now. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. This will be the end of the presentation. Thank you.